So, and it's different information for each of us, but there always, to people I say, there are 3 lots of information you should have. First is you need some sort of industry information, the sector or industry you're in. There must be a body, an association that's publishing latest news, articles. You have to subscribe to their service. Otherwise, you don't know what's happening in your industry. You don't know. In my game, I know I need to subscribe to each of the venture capital associations. So I subscribe to all of them: SAVCA, EAVCA, AVCA, Dazzle Angels. I subscribe to all of them. Big Stack. And every day or every week when they publish stuff, it comes into my emails, a quick cursory review, and I know what's happening in my industry. So first you need an industry source of information. If you're in manufacturing and you're manufacturing garments, you need an industry source of information. And if you don't have a local industry source of information, you need to find an international industry source of information. But you need to know. So that's the first piece of content and information that you need. The second piece of content and information that you need is general motivational upliftment content. Many places to look for this, but there are some golden standards, right? So for those of us here in the room who are on social media, if you're not following Goalcast is the golden standard. They made popular this format. In fact, they've published a couple of my videos where they have the video, they cut it into 30 seconds, they overlay it with really inspirational music, then they publish it. And here's the trick: once you find one, go and click on who follows them and you'll find the other ones. Or click on who they follow and you'll find the other ones. And why do you need this? Well, if you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, some days you don't feel like waking up. Some calls you don't want to take. Some meetings you don't want to be in. So you'd far rather be in a position where you're getting some sort of external stimuli, right? And then the third piece of information. So first you need industry information. What's happening in your industry? What's happening in your space? Then you need uplifting sources of content. For those of us here who are believers, whether it's some sort of spiritual content, religious content. As a believer, I live on Priscilla Shire. I think Priscilla, right? Come on. I live on Priscilla Shire. The gold standard, TD Jakes. And then everybody, it's just like, because some days all I want to do is just listen to a good 30 minutes of TD Jakes shouting at me. Because that's what he does, Do you believe? I'm like, yes. I'm broke, but yes. I absolutely believe, right? So the point is you need this kind of content. And then the third bit of content is you need content that constantly keeps your mind elastic. So, there was a study that was done, I forget by whom, and I don't want to date it because I will get it wrong. I remember the high levels. And the study proved that similar to those of us in the room who have a gym membership, and you go to gym and you work out. Ask anybody in the room who has a gym membership, you go to the gym and you work out. First thing that happens when you go to the gym and you work out is pain. Following morning, the second morning, the third morning, pain, because your body's not used to whatever strain and exhaustion you're putting it through. But you go through the pain, and then after a while, your body metastasizes and it gets used to this pain, right? So it goes, oh wow, I'm kind of used to this now. And what actually begins to happen is you begin to look forward to the pain. The people who gym know what I'm talking about. You even feel flat if your muscles aren't slightly volumized, if you don't have a tear, if you don't, there's a certain heat that goes through a certain part of your body when you've exercised it and you've torn the muscle and the blood has rushed there. It looks inflamed. It's that beautiful, it's that what I call the Rock look. If you ever watch any of the movies with The Rock, any time before he shoots a scene where he's shirtless, he goes and he pumps a bit. That pump look, right? So your body first goes through the pain, then your body goes through going, I like the pain, right? And then you get more and more advanced in this process. Your muscles do this, but so too does your brain. So what the study actually proved is that if you're engaged in some sort of academic process of rigor, a short course, a program, a degree, a diploma, anything like this, your body, your brain is more elastic. It's better at consuming this content. And some of you in the room, if you've ever done a degree, you'll know this. The minute you finish, there's almost a crashing feeling. Does that make sense? Yeah? There's almost this like, what do I do with my time now? My Saturdays were always spent either in the lecture hall or sitting in the library studying. So what do I do with all this time? So first, industry information. Second, inspirational, uplifting information. Third, engage yourself in a constant process in a system of study. It's absolutely fundamental. It keeps your brain vibrant, it keeps you alive, it keeps your brain elastic, it keeps you fresh. It keeps you contemporary, it keeps you thinking, it keeps you engaged, it keeps you constantly adding new value. There are in this room, sadly, some of us who think what we knew a year ago is the best we can do. And so we stay with what we knew a year ago. But the space you're in, the industry you're in, the environment you're operating in, the competitors you're competing with every single day are looking for a competitive edge. So they're getting themselves better too. Does this make sense? How many of us here, it's barely 11 o'clock, how many of us here have already gone and checked out what's on the blogs and the gossip columns? And the funny thing is, there are three types of people. There are those who've done it and who will look shamefully at everybody else as if they've never done it. There are those who are doing it right now, but pretend they don't know what we're talking. And then there are those who go, yeah, I've done this. The reason is just because that information is so easily available, so readily available. If you go and search for something online, that's the first thing that pops up at you. You see it. It's right there. Right? So what happens to most of us is first you read one article about some or other public person or politician that was driving on Mombasa Road and hit a pothole. And what happens is your phone and the algorithms on your phone start supplying you with like information because you've read this stuff. So I think the first lesson for any person who's a serious growth entrepreneur is you have to curate the content you're consuming. It's your responsibility, nobody else's. Guys, a simple thing, like just go on your Facebook feed and go and check what's on your timeline. Check what's in your status board. It'll tell you everything you need to know about what information you're consuming every day. I made a decision some time ago that I don't want television. So in my home, I have TVs, don't get me wrong, beautiful, massive, big TVs. They're just never on. I also don't have the decoder thing that you use for the channels. So it's not unless I'm traveling and I'm staying in a hotel that I can actually tell you what's on CNN. I don't know. When I first started doing this, it felt a little bit like I was plugged out of the system of life. It was the best decision I ever made. I just don't know. Now here's the crazy thing, is people say, well, if you don't know the news, aren't you staying behind? No, because by 10 o'clock the following morning, everything you need to know, someone in your life would have told you. Vladimir Putin starts a war, it's on somebody's WhatsApp status. You don't need to go and look for it. Some court issues a judgment about some politician, somebody's going to put up the link on their WhatsApp status. You don't need to, why are you sitting there watching 24 hours of garbage fed to you all day, every day, all day? We're in Nairobi, I'm not in the US, but I already know that Johnny Depp has been giving testimony against Amber Heard. How do I know? Because it's there. Does it make sense? So I think you have to start first by curating the information you're consuming. You have to do this.